Boom. Okay, hopefully this is being received. It's still saying going live. Okay, are we live? Hello? Is anybody about? Hopefully you are. If you are, say hi in the chat. Because it currently says that, although there's one person here. Hello, one person, whoever you may be. Yeah, we're going to be going over a couple of things today. We've got Doctor Who Power, the Doctor Who magazine stuff, I should say. And I've also been orchestrating a little bit of a Q&A. Oh, bye. That's awkward. Hi in the chat. Hello to George M. Vortex257. Hello to you both. Hopefully you're doing okay. Hello to Heretic. Been here ages, but nothing happened. There we are. I'm here now. It took me a second. Hi Pam. Hi Vanders. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you can see. Hey Bad Wolf Archives. Hey from Twitter. How you doing, Bad Wolf? I didn't know you had a YouTube account, to be honest. I kind of assumed you just vibed in the shadow realm. But hello. How's everybody doing? We doing good? Only 11 days to go. Yeah, it's coming up quick. It's coming up pretty quick. Hi from Glasgow. Hi, Jamie Will. How's Glasgow? How's the weather? It's gotten quite nippy up here, I must say. It must be said. It's gotten quite nippy, quite cold, quite quickly up here. We were, enjoying the last remnants of like autumn, but I think winter's definitely on its way. Hello, buddy. How you doing today? I'm not doing too bad. I'm just, I was gonna stream later, but I was bored, and little snippets have been coming out from Doctor Who magazine because some people have managed to get their copies early. I am not such one of the lucky few, but I do have a couple of details. I've still ordered the magazine though, so even though we are going to go over a couple of magazine bits, I would still encourage you, if you have the means, go and purchase the magazine if you can. Just to make my conscience feel better, if nothing else, for showing this stuff. But I am, like I say, I am a regular subscriber to Doctor Who magazine, so I think it should be fine for me to show some of the details, because some people have got it early. Winter is here, and the UK returns to its cold, dark shell. I mean, it never really leaves it. It's just occasionally we might get some glimpses of the warm, like. It's me, the former vote maker guy. Oh, hi man, how you doing? Yeah, I saw. Did your Twitter account get closed down? Because if so, that does suck. I've always seen your little polls. They're very cool. Why can't we go back to the RCT of marketing back when there was like preview clips on talk shows and teaser trailers? I think those days might come back to some degree. Also, if you are just joining the stream, feel free to like it if you haven't already. Hello, Jean. How are you? You doing good? Hello from the Isle of Man. Hello, Joshua Moore. How are you? Yeah, so we're just going to be vibing out, checking out some of the Doctor Who magazine clippings and details that I've found, giving my thoughts on them, and we're just going to be vibing. So yeah, like the stream if you haven't already. Also, we're about 14 subscribers away from 15,900, so if you haven't subscribed yet and you'd like to, no pressure, feel free. Super chats are also available, so when we get to the Q&A section later on, if your question, like if you didn't get a chance to answer or your question doesn't like make it or whatever, feel free to super chat if you want to ask a question quickly, and I'll see it. It'll flash up on my screen, and I'll answer it for you. But yeah, with that said, shall we get into some of the stuff? All right. So first of all, we have basically some Doctor Who magazine stuff. So basically, the official cover got brought back onto Panini just earlier today, which, to the shock of everyone, I think you'll agree, it's a truly shocking cover. I think no one was expecting this. But this is actually only one of the covers. As far as I can tell, this is like the sleeve or inside cover, because the special editions of the magazine normally come with a cleaner cover. They did the same thing with the Ncuti Gatwa edition of Doctor Who magazine, which I have somewhere, which is basically that version of the magazine is just the black Doctor Who logo with him at the forefront, whereas I think the inner cover or the outer cover, one of the two, has more text on it and stuff. So that seems to be what's happening here, because we have this one, and then if I've got it, oh no, I've not got it set up right. No, spoilers, damn it. Well, you've seen that now. But yeah, we had this one that has been spotted in certain stores of recent, which depicts the 13th Doctor and Yaz in their last issue of Doctor Who magazine, last issue as the focus anyway. of Doctor Who magazine, and yeah, I must say I do much prefer this to this. I don't know. There's just something nice about like the cleaner like magazine covers. I think personally. So yeah, that's cool. And then yeah, as like sort of spoiled, we've had a couple of little screenshots from the magazine. Nothing major yet. Like I'm assuming people are trying to like be respectful of the magazine, given that it's technically out, but it's out early. So yeah, I respect that. But we have got this image, which seems to depict 13 Yaz and the TARDIS having landed in some sort of cave-like orangey area. And I'm going to explain what I think this cave-like orangey area is, because we see Ace in a similar sort of location in the iconic get-up that we've seen her in already. And I think if we zoom in here, you can see the silhouettes of what look to be Daleks. I don't think that's that much of a stretch. Like, you can very clearly see the sort of the bumpy idents, the big the big eye stalk on the front. I think that's a safe bet that those are Daleks in the background. Now, I've seen some speculation as to what these two locations are. I've seen some people say that it's Gallifrey. Personally, if you look really closely here, you can kind of see this volcanic sort of lava, I guess, molten lava, I guess you would call it. So I think what's happening, if I can hazard a guess, is that in the trailer we see the Daleks excavating that big thing, and what I'm assuming they're doing is they're excavating this volcano for some sort of nefarious purposes. The Doctor, Yaz, and possibly Ace are sent to look and basically find out what they're using the volcano for. What they're actually using it for, if that does turn out to be the case, I have no idea. But that's my little pervading theory right now, is that this isn't on Gallifrey, but in fact, inside that volcano we see in the Power of the Doctor trailer that was released a couple of days ago. And then we have a couple of details from the magazine itself, because obviously there's been interviews from Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, etc. And obviously I've only had a couple of details from this, and I want to go over them. So we have so apparently Jodie confirmed she was pregnant whilst filming Power of the Doctor. 2 hearts, she grins, and then says method acting. That's really funny that she's actually technically the first Doctor with 2 hearts whilst performing. That's really sweet. That's really nice. And then there was also apparently a lovely moment in Doctor Magazine in the Chris Chibnall interview, because obviously he gets interviewed as well, so where he talks about his own cancer diagnosis and why he put Graham and the Doctor's conversation in Can You Hear Me? I'm so thankful for his writing. So yeah, I didn't know that Chris Chibnall had a cancer diagnosis. This does kind of fall in line with what we know of Chris Chibnall, to put his own personal experience into his stories. Good example being the Timeless Child, and he said, funnily enough, in another edition of Doctor Who magazine, that was based on his personal experience with adoption and stuff. My one thing with this, and obviously it's not a slight on Chris Chibnall, but I've seen the response from some people. I've seen some people saying that the fact that it's based on his own personal experience kind of makes the criticism and people saying it perhaps wasn't quite sensitive to their own issues, it kind of makes that irrelevant, and I completely disagree with that. As much as I respect, Chris Chibnall's own dealings with the likes of cancer or his adoption story, everyone's experiences with those things are different, and none of them are invalid. And to say that, obviously, I don't think Chris Chibnall's are invalid in the same way that I think a good example where I can come at this from is that I'm a disabled guy myself, and I know many people with dyspraxia and stuff, and I've had that conversation with people who've really struggled with the representation of Tosin Cole's, or Ryan Sinclair's dyspraxia, I should say. And I know that I believe I'm not 100% on this, but I think one of Chris Chibnall's kids has dyspraxia, and he worked with the Dyspraxia Foundation to incorporate it into the show, which is a great thing, and I'm not going to try and diminish that in any way. But what I will say is, just because the right steps are taken or because someone has experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that the depictions are above criticism, because at the end of the day, it's one person's experience. Minorities and their experiences, they're not a monolith. Everyone has different experiences with that. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way, because I saw a bit of discourse surrounding that. Basically, respect everyone's experiences with that stuff. Everyone's experiences are, valid. Just because one's in a TV show, it doesn't make it more valid than anyone else who perhaps, feels that that experience doesn't represent what they went through. It just means that this is the one that made it to screen. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I wanted to get that off my chest because I've seen some discourse surrounding that. And yeah. But then we also have this. So there's a couple more things I'm sure that I've missed. But I wanted to talk about this because obviously, as we know, the Power of the Doctor premiere was going on last night. And a few pictures we've seen seem to depict, because obviously we saw last night, there was the cyber conversion chair, where basically well, I didn't know it was a cyber conversion chair. There was this big chair, and we were like, what's that? It's looking as though, and I've seen, this isn't just one image of it, but this is like the main one I found of basically, a Cyberman. They're actually using it to what looks like convert people into Cyberman. That seems to be what it is. It seems to be a cyber conversion chamber, which does kind of fit with what I said the other day, where I thought that it kind of looks a bit like the Ascension of the Cybermen doors, and also stuff in World Enough Time Doctor Falls. So it makes sense that it looks to be a cyber conversion chair, kind of in a similar vein to what was in Closing Time, but obviously a lot smaller, I guess. But yeah, so there's that. And then we also, on the topic of Power of the Doctor, I suppose this is all on the topic of Power of the Doctor. I don't know why I felt the need to specify it in that specific instance. We had an official BBC press office statement saying that it was, in fact, going to be on at 7:30, Power of the Doctor, which we already knew from various TV listings, as well as, in the end, we had, at the press screening, it said 7:30 on it. So yeah, it's nice to have that officially confirmed at the very least. Yeah, so that's the news segment so far. I hope that came across well. Darius dropping big truth bombs. Thank you. I try my best. And hello, Metal Gear Trex. I love you, man. T-Rex. Is it T-Rex? I was just say it like Metal Gear Trex, but now I feel like an idiot for just not realizing it was T-Rex. But yeah, that's how I see that whole thing. Obviously, I'm not, and I would never try and like speak. Obviously, I have my own experiences with my own disability, and I'm gonna talk about them. But I'm never gonna like try and diminish the experiences of others. There is, when does Series 14 start filming? Last we seem to have heard November, so next month. Yeah, it would be next month, apparently, according to a few people. Also, if you have just joined the stream, there's about 110 of you. Feel free to like the stream. It just helps with the algorithm and boosting and stuff. That always is appreciated. What else was I going to say? There was something else. So I was like, someone mentioning like, why wouldn't the Doctor just take Rides to the Future and cure his disability? I personally wouldn't want that. I get where you're coming from, and a few years ago, when I was a kid especially, I felt that too, like, oh, I wish someone would just fix it. But I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go about it, because, that, to say that, like, the Doctor goes to fix them implies that they're in some way broken in the first place, which they're not. They're just differently abled. The term disabled implies that someone is incapable, and I don't think that's the case. It's just that they're able in other ways, At least I like to think, anyway. Is it a conversion chair, or is it something else? Judging by the way the Cybermen were using it, I would say it's a cyber conversion chair, judging by that. Exactly, there's nothing to fix. Yeah, I think that's the message you want to put across. Obviously, disabled representation is such a wide spectrum of things, and I don't want to I don't want to pin it anything down for anyone else. But personally, for me, I think you've got to be very careful about that. Love your love your content there. Big ups from down under, from Australia. Is that from Australia? What time is it over there? I try and do these at a good time, so where it's not too early for other parts of the world, but also obviously 4 p.m. is normally quite a good time. But I'm going to be live for a little while yet, so But yeah, there's something else I was going to talk about as well, because there's been a few little instances. Apparently, as well, Jodie in DWM has been mentioning Doctor Who, not Doctor Who. Well, of course, she's been mentioning Doctor Who. She's been mentioning This has been plotline. I don't know why I said she's been mentioning Doctor Who. Like, what else is she going to be talking about? The weather? Although, that'd be fun. There's also this new picture of, I've just seen this on my timeline, Sacha Dhawan and Amanda Gill at the Power of the Doctor premiere, so that's very cool. Wait. That's meta. No, I don't like that. Jessica's watching me on her TV. That's so strange. Wait, can I do the blink thing? Wait, hang on. What's the script to blink? Hold on. Hang on, I've gotten sidetracked. If anyone's watching me on your TV, you ready? Blink script. I realise I'm ruining the immersion a little bit, but blink transcripts. Hold on. I need the Doctor's lines. Okay, right. Someone can fill this in, right? Oh wait, I've got to realise I've got to change the lines slightly. Wait, no. Hang on, I've got to. It's weird because I got to make sure I'm looking at you guys and reading the script. Hold on. Wait. Yep, that's me. Yes, I do. I'm a time traveller, or I was. I'm stuck in 1969. Okay, that'll do. Enjoy that. I don't want to derail the stream too much, but there we are. Wish I could afford Gallifrey 1. Personally, for me, it's just the travel that's the main issue, although I am broke at the moment. Yo, there's my man. Hello, RNG. How are you doing? What was I going to say? I was going to say something else, and it's gone from because there's a couple other things on the timeline currently, but I don't want to like just keep waiting for more stuff to drop or like finding stuff. So what I'll do, yeah, there's some more. Oh, this was the thing I was talking about. I lost it. There we are. So I am actually going to LFCC Winter, but I'm only going on the Saturday, which is when Smith's going, I believe. But they did just announce a group photo op with David Tennant and Jodie Whittaker. So I'm going to call this sort of, what do you call it? The Edge of Reality photo op, I guess. Or the comic photo op, if you look like that, because they're like always together in the comics and like Edge of Reality. So yeah, that interests you, then that is available now, so feel free. Yeah, that's another thing I want to mention. There was also, what else was there? Oh yeah, this was the bit about Tasman that I saw being reposted. So I'm gonna think that was retweeted by Doctor Who Production News because James Parder responded to it. So the original tweet was, wait, can you guys see? Make sure you guys can see. No, you can't. I'll fix that. I always forget to turn it over, to flip it over once I've moved it. So Amanda Gill says, I was showing Jodie the fan art. It was touched on in the script early on. I'm subconscious putting in extra looks because I could see it as a thing that worked for my character. And then James Parton, who does a lot of the pictures for this era, said, I wonder if John and Carbonista did this. And there's the clip of Anthony from Boat Saxon 7, who was in the chat last time. Shout outs to him if he sees this. But yeah, so yeah, there's little nuggets coming out just now. So I have no doubt that I'll cover some more in the meantime. But yeah, whilst we're doing that, I think it's time I should get into some questions. So I asked you guys on Twitter and on YouTube to send me some of your burning questions, and I am going to do that. What's the likelihood that we'll get some sort of teaser for the 60th after Power of the Doctor? I mean, I think the Regeneration is going to happen. In terms of teasers, I don't know. I want to... I want to say it's high, but like I don't want to get my hopes up as well. Nah, mate, it's the 13th and 14th Doctor photo op. Oh man, no, it's gonna be so funny when it's like, I have a tweet planned for that day, and someone's probably already thought of it, but I've thought of it when Tennant inevitably comes up on screen. I've thought of a funny tweet, but yeah. Anyway, question time. I'm going to start off with some questions. So yeah, these were sent to me on Twitter and YouTube. So we'll start off with Metal Gear TRex saying, what is your favourite bit of acting for Matt Smith in Doctor Who? A very good question. I tend to have, there's a number of answers to this. Number one would be the Time of the Doctor speech, his final speech in Time of the Doctor when he regenerates. I think that just has a wonderful message about, living and being, and sort of growing as time progresses. And I also just think that Matt Smith's delivery is absolutely phenomenal throughout that speech as well. I would also say the Colonel Runaway scene where he goes very quickly from like sort of light and playful to very aggressive, like on a flick. Love that scene. The Rings of Akaten speech is absolute banger. He puts so much emotion into that, and I always love that one final shot of him laying his head down, sort of defeated and weighed down by his memories and his past. Always love that. And then there was one more that I was going to think of, and I can't think of it now. Oh yeah, the Doctor's wife, the very end, when he's saying goodbye to the TARDIS, Idris, and he's just getting very emotional. Basically, whenever Matt Smith gets emotional, he just delivers. His performances are just rock solid and so nuanced, and I love it. I'd also say Beast Below is another great one. There's so many great ones. But yeah, those are some of my options for that. And the next one is from John Boy Cook, who says, who do you drive as on Mario Kart? Now we're hitting the important questions. Now we're hitting... Oh, hang on, I think someone might have just arrived. Sorry about that, everyone. Someone just came in to check on me. I'm okay, though. I'm alive. But yeah, so next question was, who do you drive as on Mario Kart? Now we get to the important questions. Tends to be, because I love Zelda, so it tends to be either Link, or in terms of the Mario characters themselves, probably DK those would be my two. Or Wario, to be fair. That's an important question. More important than any Doctor Who question. And then we got a bunch of questions from Jessica, so I'll go over them. Also, shout outs to you watching on TV. I've always wondered this, since I go to the cinema a lot, as a wheelchair user, how has your experience been at cinemas? To be honest, right, my experiences are pretty good. I've got pretty good cinemas. They've got ramps, like sort of ramped bits. They're like, you can't even really tell that they're ramps because there's just carpeted. But yeah, it's very easy, and there's little slots that the wheelchairs slide into, kind of like parking spaces. It's been pretty easy in the cinemas I've been to. Although, I will recount one funny story where I was watching Tintin, and I decided I want to sit on one of the main seats, and I did. And I kept trying to get a closer look at the screen, and I kept going and going and going until I eventually fell off the chair, which resulted in a hospital visit. But yeah, generally speaking, cinemas are pretty cool. Hopefully you guys can still see this, which you can. Metal Mario Link in it. Link is like up there. Hi May, how's you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. We're just vibing today. We're just having a nice chill stream. I loved answering the questions from the last stream, so I thought I'd make it into a bigger segment. Not really a question, but when's the stream gonna be? Now! I answered that question. Boom. We're flying through these. Oh no, that's one that I've already answered. Best Aussie YouTuber that isn't Josh Nares. I mean, I feel like I've been set up for this. Is Crispy. Nah, I love Crispy. I gotta give it to Crispy Pro. Iconic. What a legend. We love him. We stan. What an icon. Matty Bale says, one thing you'll miss from the Chibnall era. One thing you won't miss. Okay, one thing I'll miss. Ooh. Good question. I'll miss if they change the Cyberman designer. I'll miss that. I'll miss the master because I do. Even though I have some issues with the writing, I think that Sacha Dhawan is great. I think he's a great choice, and I like his energy a lot. So yeah, and then one thing I won't miss, I'll admit, I've got a bit more. I've got a few more answers for that one, but I think, ooh, it's hard because you can either go for something like within the writing that probably won't be as bad, like sort of the expositional stuff, or you could go for something more tangible and say something like the TARDIS interior. I won't miss that. I'm going to go with that. I'll say the TARDIS interior. I won't miss the TARDIS interior. So that's my two. Best Doctor Who podcast excluding yourself. Again, Troy setting me up here as co-host of Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast with Crispy Pro. But that is naturally one of the good ones. Also, I will say I do love Review of Death as well, though. I have a shirt for Review of Death. Love Review of Death. I've spoken to Jean at length. If we ever came into money, one thing we'd love to do is get like a proper studio for Wild Endeavour and just other projects and just have it all nice and professionally like they do, because yeah, I love that stuff. So yeah, that's that question. Let me read chat. Is everyone doing okay in chat? Can't wait for Rosalia and Tennant. Same hype. Will BBC release a preview clip from last night's premiere? I doubt it. It'd be nice if they released the Q&A session, but again, it's unlikely they will. I'd hope. It'd be nice if they did, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Also, yeah, if you are just still in the stream, feel free to like it. We're on 37 likes. I feel like we could get to 100, right? It just helps out the algorithm and stuff. But yeah, carrying on with the questions, because I want to get through a couple more of these. This one is also from Jessica, and it says, what do you imagine a modern special weapons Dalek would look like? What would be your ideal design? I'd love either of these. I would say the second one, because it's more in keeping. Out of those two, I'd say the second one, because it's more in keeping with the original design, just with the, regalia and elements of the new Time War Dalek designs. Although, I do think the Daleks generally need a new design, but I would say if we're keeping the bronze design, I would say the second one. It's got to keep the original silhouette, you know what I mean? And then Jess again says, what's your favourite thing about Twitter specifically? It's hard to find enjoyment in currently, but what stands out? What makes it worth it? The attention. No, I kid. I think just making friends on there. I've made so many good friends from obviously Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, I would say that. Very corny, but that's my answer. Would you rather fight 10 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I think I've had this question before, but it's an important question. I think a one horse-sized duck would be terrifying. I think a big duck would be terrifying. Like a duck that could eat you, that'd be terrifying. So I'd go with the 10 duck-sized horses. Easily. It's not even close. A big duck is terrifying. I don't mind ducks when they're smaller than me, but a big duck, you know what I mean? Can you make a new Dalek design? Problem is, I'm a terrible artist. Even though I've thought about it at length, what I would do for a new Dalek design. I am not good enough at art to probably be able to pull that off, to be honest. As much as I'd like to. So yeah, I hope that isn't too disappointing of an answer. Do you have any desires for the centenary, and do you think they'll be met? What do you hope happens during the regeneration? Good question. In terms of my hopes, I did a video talking about my hopes for the centenary. They were pretty broad. To be honest, my main one is that I just enjoy it. Even if it's not perfect, I do think it's going to be quite messy, just for the sheer amount that he set up, and we've kind of seen this before. But as long as it can entertain me for 90 minutes, I'll be happy. And you know what? I think it might well achieve that goal. I'm not going into it super critically, mainly because, the next year is what? A couple, as soon as that, ends, we're going to be into a new era. So it's kind of like with Twice Upon a Time, it's actually grown on me, Twice Upon a Time has, over the years. But at the time, I wasn't a big fan, but it's kind of oh, well, there's a new thing coming in, a little bit. So yeah, I don't have any massive things, but other part of that question, what do you hope happens during the regeneration? I hope, obviously I hope to see Tennant at the end, that's obvious, but I hope that there is a reason for Tennant that's perhaps communicated within it. So I hope that, what I hope they could do, and I think they should do this, is I think it was Morgan Jeffrey on Twitter who suggested this, I think, who said it'd be cool if basically the regeneration was going to Shooty, and then maybe due to some of the stuff that happened in the centenary or stuff that's going to happen in the 60th, it flicks into Tennant. I think that would be a really cool way of doing it, because it'd be different. Because it would still show that Shooty is the next one along, but also that, like, this, Tennant 14th Doctor, if you will, sort of still exists in between, if you like. I hope that makes sense. Fairies, what is your name? What is the name of your disability? Can you move your legs at all? Yes, and it's cerebral palsy, specifically quadriplegic, so it affects all 4 limbs. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Next question. How many books have you eaten recently? Well, someone's been watching the streams. 15. What is your favourite piece of Doctor Expanded Media? SJA. Sarah Jane Adventures. I have so much nostalgia for it. And I genuinely think it's held up really well. Obviously, there's some people who are involved in it, which I don't concern the actions of since, but the show itself is really great, and it's held up really well for the most part. I think it's aged surprisingly well. So I would say, yeah, Sarah Jane Adventures. It's my favourite piece of expanded media. I've always loved it, and I even bought Sarah Jane Adventures separately on Amazon Prime, like a couple of months before it was added to BritBox, which, to be fair, on my part was a bad financial move, but I didn't know it's going to be added to BritBox. But yeah, that's just because I really wanted to rewatch it again. But yeah. So there's my answer to that. Okay. Yeah, Jess came in with a lot of questions. But bam! Who's your favourite person on Who's Twitter, and why is it me? No. I just refuse. No, you're great, Jessica, but I can't go naming favourites like that. Most underrated episode of New Who. Can't speak today. A lot of the Series 7 stuff, to be fair. I still stand by a lot of the Series 7 stuff is criminally underrated. I'm gonna say... See, it's difficult because some things aren't underrated, they're just disliked. And other things are underrated. I don't know how disliked Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS is, but I'm going to go with that, because I always enjoy it. So there you go. How long are you hoping RTD stays on Doctor Who this time? That's a good question, because we did confirm a while back that he's doing at least 2 series. He's at least going up to series 15. Honestly, I could have him for as long as he wants to stay. If I had to guess how long he was gonna stay, realistically, it's probably gonna be more like he might match Hibernal and do 3, I think. Because I don't think he'll want to stay too long, but I think he might, while he may not be showrunner going forward, I could totally see him occupying a Kevin Feige sort of position in the future, where maybe he's not writing it, but he is sort of the auteur, he's sort of overseeing it. Kind of like JNT was in the 80s, where he didn't actually write the stories, but he oversaw a lot of the creative direction of the show at that time. I could see him occupying a similar space to that, even after he's done being showrunner. This one comes from HeyJ at HeyJ2000. How many Doctor Who shows do you think should be running? Do you think they should go back to 3 like in the RTD era, or could MCU approach work where there's 6 different shows happening a year? I definitely don't. Right, okay, I'm gonna go off on a bit of a rant about the MCU stuff. I definitely do not want the approach of what the MCU's been doing recently of 6 shows a year, because I find it virtually impossible to keep up with any of it these days. And quite frankly, I think that they've really overdone it. I think it's really hard to keep track of. I personally agree with, I think, your earlier suggestion that they should do what they did in the original run. If we are to have spin-offs, I think 2 main television spin-offs, and then two main television spin-offs, and like maybe, you know, things like Confidential, Totally Doctor Who, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's that question done. Sorry, I had to remove someone from the chat because I was just not gonna have that in the chat. I was just double checking. Do you think having 13 regenerated Turtle will be a commentary on the fandom as a whole? Oh, so you mean, do you think it'll factor into the story? Yeah, I think part of the themes of that story will be, I think part of the themes will be Tennant struggling to move on, and by the end of the specials, he'll have accepted that, you know, he's got a future, perhaps with Shooty, and that will help him, you know, accept his eventual fate. And that'll kind of be a meta commentary on like the fandom of, yeah, Tennant was great, we've got him back for a bit, but we're moving on now, sort of thing. I think MCU shared universe is a bad idea about like RTD1 like spin-offs. I think it could work. I just don't want like 6 shows a year because I think the quality would take a huge dive. I don't think you can dedicate as much time to them as you perhaps want to. Yeah, no, I don't want a big Marvel style universe. A couple of years ago, when like the MCU hadn't completely, you know, milked itself to the bone, I just said, yeah, absolutely do that. But now I'm like, nah, nah, it's too much. This is also from Hey Jay, saying, out of all the classic companions, which one do you think deserves to come back the most? Personally, I chose Susan because she's, you know, the Doctor's freaking granddaughter. I agree with that. I think Susan is long overdue a return. Because a lot of the ones that I want to come back kind of already have. So yeah, say her. I mean, unless you talk about New Who. In which case, I also think Martha Jones deserves to come back. Because I think there's an interesting story to tell there of like, yeah, you actually didn't take my issues seriously, because a lot of companions, when they come back, you know, you look at the likes of you know, Sarah Jane or you know, Ace or anything like that. Tegan's probably the exception, to be fair, but I like it when obviously a lot of the time when companions come back, they had a very good time with the Doctor. They found it very rewarding and were treated very well. So it'd be interesting to have a companion come back to go, actually, you know what? You didn't really listen to my issues when they were there. And I think actually that would be an interesting dynamic with a new companion where like Martha could be there to go, look, you know, the Doctor's great, but like he's not the be all and end all. Sometimes he will make mistakes, you know? Confused out opposed to streaming as well. Oh, is he? Oh, there we are. Until the brand needs reviving again, and Terror will be there. Nah, I think we're in safe hands for the next few years at least. Imagine RTD writing the show and bringing in Moffat to write a spin-off. I want Moffat to write some stuff for the new era. I want him to write a couple episodes. Because when you put those two together, like, just magic happens, man. You know? Like, it's just magical, that pairing. 100%. We're also 11 subscribers away from 15,900, so if you want to help us get there, that'd be greatly appreciated. Yeah, I had no idea Joe was streaming as well. Did he start streaming after me? I assume he did, because I hadn't seen it come up at that point, but that's cool. Here's a question from Ollie saying, if RTD designs the Daleks, what colour do you think they'll be? Would you prefer a complete redesign or a recolor? I think it's been high time for a complete redesign. I wouldn't mind a recolor though. I just want something different. I think it's more than enough time has passed for a complete redesign, but I wouldn't mind a recolor because you know you can breathe new life into those Time War designs with a new color scheme. But I think the Daleks need to look different now. You know, it's been what? Like, obviously we had the paradigm in between, but they kind of were never stuck to. So we've had basically the same design for what? You know, going on, what are we now, 2022. By next year, it'll be like, what? 18 years? Like, yeah, I think it's time for a new design. Definitely. In terms of what I would do for a new design, I did do a video with Jay talking about fan designs that I really thought looked cool. Unfortunately, I did kind of mess up on the editing. That was entirely my fault. But yeah, if you want to watch that video, feel free. Which recurring villain are you looking forward to having RTD revisit? I do love when RTD writes the Daleks. I think he writes them exceedingly well. I do want to see a good Cyberman story again. Oh, is that a hot take? I mean, Haunting is decent, but like I want like something like Worm Nothing Time Doctor Falls again. I want the Cybermen to really shine again, and I hope they will. Not shine in the literal sense, because the new ones are shiny, but you know what I mean. Shine in the literary storytelling sense, I guess. Who is your favourite classic incarnation of the Master? I'll probably upset some people with this, but I love Ainley. I don't know, like, I just find him so fun. I know that, like, Delgado is, like, more iconic, and I get why. I love Delgado as well, but man, I just, like, Ainley is so over the top and camp and theatrical, but I kind of love it. I've also, can I just say, I always find it super weird when people are like, oh my god, the Master being a snake guy in the TV movie, that's really weird. Why would they do that? And then in like Survival, you have him as like, basically a cat person. I'm like, this isn't really out of the Master's wheelhouse that much. Like, I don't know why one is seen as acceptable and the other's like a massive stretch, I don't know. Why is Paul McGann trending? I don't know, should we check? To be fair, it is personalised to you as an individual, so it might not be anything major, but I'll double check. Oh yeah, no, it's just people talking about just Paul McGann in general. Based. Nothing that groundbreaking from what I can see. Would you want the Master to return in the RCD? No, I wouldn't. If he was to come back, I wouldn't mind Sacha Dhawan staying around, but no, I want the Master to have a break for a while. I've said it a few times. I do plan on making a whole video on this topic. I keep saying it. Parts of it have been recorded. I just haven't got around to it yet, but I will in due course. But yeah, I think the Master is due a break, I think. Do you agree season 1 is the best in New Who? Afraid not. Series 1 is the best in New Who. I'm afraid not, because Series 5 is my favourite of New Who. Series 5 is my favourite. Series 4, quality-wise, is probably slightly better, but I prefer the vibe of Series 5 ever so slightly. But those two are always, like, sort of battling for my first place. Do you like it when I post a vote every time you post something, Darius? I think it's funny. Yeah, go for it, man. Are there any writers from the Chibnall era you'd like to see stay on for RTD2? If I had to pick one, I probably would pick Maxine Alderton, because I don't think she's really been given an opportunity to write a story just on her own. Like, I want to see what her individual vision for it is outside of Chris Chibnall, because in both cases, Haunting is very much tied into, like, the Cyberman Gallifrey plot, and then obviously with Series 13, Village of the Angels is very tied into the Division, Timeless Child stuff. So yeah, for me, I think Maxine Alderton, Series 5 is the best of New Who, agreed. Yeah, it probably, I don't know, I do flip-flop between the two quality-wise, but yeah, I mean, yeah. Sutek returning would be pretty cool. He's always been my choice for returning classic cute villain. I do love Sutek. But yeah, Maxine Alderton would be the main one, I would say. Well, this is an interesting one. Do you think the action figures will return in a bigger form because of RTD2? If so, are you looking forward to that? I think they will. Yeah, I could see the show becoming a bit more popular. I don't think it's ever going to get back to the point of, the 2000s, where, like, they make a figure out of everything. I think you do have to be realistic, but I do think we could get more under him, and I think the show would be more successful. And if so, yeah, absolutely, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's a crime that we haven't had, a new Cyberman design since the Cybers ones. I wish they had some more money, and hopefully, if this new era is a success, like I think it will be, we'll be getting some more figures and stuff. Because I think it's a crime that we haven't had, like, the current Master, or like the Fugitive Doctor as well, or anything like that. They should really be a thing. But yeah. What's 2 plus 2? Can't help you out. No idea. No, it's 4. See, I'm not dumb. Will Thomas Dixon be on again? He seems to have all the info we need. I know he was on the stream last night, and he has been on a couple of streams, but I haven't seen him in the chat today. But if he is, I'm sure he'll make himself known. Whoop. Chat just exploded for a sec. So which YouTubers do you think you could actually demolish in the next BFI Drunken Barbarel? To be fair, I'm not in the season. I'm not going to the season 2 BFI, but the next one I go to, I don't really know. I'm not a very strong fighter, if you couldn't already tell. I know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. Because then I also feel like someone's going to clip it out and be like, they reckon they could take you in a fight. I don't think I could take Mr. TARDIS if I'm being honest with myself. Maybe Davis, if I caught him on the right day. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to fight anyone, really, though. How do you think Jodie will regenerate? I think they'll do the falling off cliff thing. That's from Mitch Davis. I think they'll do the falling off cliff thing that was rumoured. I know it's boring, but I do think that's what they're going to do. Could be wrong, though, of course. What's her name? Who is she? I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me who you're talking about, please. Oh, this is a good question. Because I was actually thinking about a high-budget Doctor Who film earlier today. Or last night, rather, when I was sort of in bed. Because that's the sort of things I think about before I go to sleep. If you had to give one previous Doctor a high-budget feature film, which would it be? It'd have to be Capaldi, right? Like, he just makes the most sense for a big screen film. He's probably the biggest name of the bunch. He's probably one of the strongest actors of the bunch. And I'm not talking any crap against any of the others, but Capaldi is just, like, elite. You know, like, his Doctor isn't my favourite, but I think if you want one to carry a feature film, I think Capaldi is the one. I feel like, if realistically, they'd probably go for Tennant, just if they were going to pick a previous Doctor, just because name brand recognition, he's probably like the most iconic at this point. But yeah, I think Capaldi, 100%. Hopefully you guys can still see. You can. Good. David Tennant would be the go-to one, I think. Yeah, I think in terms of like ones that they would realistically go for, it would be Tennant. But I think I would like to have seen Capaldi do a big screen film, because I think he could definitely carry it. There we are. How would you react if they secretly had Jodie Whittaker regenerate into 11, even if it's like 5 minutes before it goes to 10? I would lose my crap, but I don't think it'll happen. I'd love to see 11 back in some capacity, though. Which Doctor Master duo do you think would work best when swapped? For me, it's Jodie Whittaker and Sacha Dhawan. Okay, this is always an interesting question. I feel like Tennant and Sim would be good swapped, because I think Tennant's definitely got the range to go full bad guy. I mean, he's done it before in numerous shows, and even in Doctor itself, you know, Time Lord Victorious kind of is that. But yeah, I could see Jodie Whittaker and Sacha Dhawan swapping too. I could also see Missy or Michelle Gomez and Pete Capaldi swapping too. So yeah, I could see a lot of them swapping. Do you think there will be a Christmas special this year? Oh yes, the coveted Christmas special question. I have gone on record, and I will continue to defend this as I see it until it's definitely confirmed in like Power of the Doctor that there isn't one. I will continue to say I think there's a strong possibility of there being a Christmas special. I don't know why. I've just got a funny feeling it'll happen. I am going to do the YouTube questions, don't you worry, because I've seen them on the community tab. I'm going through Twitter first because there was more questions that were submitted at an earlier point. But I don't think Russell is going to keep the New Year tradition up, if I'm being honest. He just seems like too much of a fan of the Christmas special to go for the New Year's. Tharos, I just found out something quite mad. Apparently, Ice McQueen of the In-Betweeners fame was once in a Master Big Finish audiobook. Yes, he was. He did a number of them, I think. Yeah. Just out of spite, they'll make it a Boxing Day special. I wouldn't mind that. Although I feel like most people are too passed out on Boxing Day to watch Doctor Who. Although, having said that, I'd have said the same thing about New Year's a couple of years ago. So, but yeah. But yes, I'd like to believe there is going to be a Christmas special, even though my dreams and hopes will probably be crushed at some point. Do you like monkeys? Yes, I do like monkeys. Have you got any particular hopes for who composes RTD2? This is from Bad Wolf Archives, who was in the chat. I don't know whether they still are, but hello if you are. Honestly, and I know it's going to make me sound incredibly basic, but I want Mary Gold back. I have gone on record as saying, even though, you know, a lot of people go, you know, I am the Doctor. It was too repeated and stuff. And you know what? I get that to an extent. But A, that wasn't his fault. And B, don't act like I Am the Doctor wasn't a banger. And like, so many of his tracks are so iconic, and I would love to see him back. You know, I think he's a lot more of a ranged composer than people give him credit for. I think a lot of people just see him as the I Am the Doctor guy. And I think there's a lot more to him than just that. I would love to see him back. Failing that, though, I wouldn't mind like a new composer, but I would want a return somewhat to the bombast. Yeah, I'm gonna say Gold out of eyes. Leave me alone. Atomize and Theories would make the perfect odd couple housemates. Well, yeah, but like that show would just consist of Atomize being wrong on everything other than the 11th Doctor being great. Like, no. Are you answering questions on YouTube or Twitter? I don't get it. So I'm answering the Twitter questions now. There's also been some that have been sent through YouTube, and then I'll also answer chat. We're doing a long Q&A, so don't worry. If you've sent a question, I'm sure I'll answer it. Move on, Theories. He defined the show for over a decade. Well, you know who else did? You know who else defined the show for years? RTD. And look what happened there, Atomize. Boom, get roasted. Everyone say L in chat. Everyone spam it right now. I want to see nothing but L's. Do it. 136 viewers, let's go. Are you Tharies or the leaker? Both. Yes. 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 Look, I can see all the L's. You look like a fool right now, Atomize. No, don't try and justify it now. They announced the airtime. They did, I covered that earlier. No, don't say W. Don't. Yeah, good. L. So true. Oh, I love. I'm being relentlessly bullied. No, Atomize is just that one Fifth Doctor scene where it's like, I'm being bullied, coerced, forced against my will. I've had enough for one day. Oh. Just joined. Going to try and travel back with the start. Big love there. He's looking forward to the spin-off series, The Leaker. Thank you. Enjoy time traveling back. I'll even do a little rewind for you. I love the L's. That's great. Right, next question. Who posted something next? Thoughts on Doctor Who getting into Fortnite? Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's good if like that leak is indeed like true and they are getting a proper Fortnite thing. Even though I don't play it very much, I think it's good for Doctor Who to be getting the like into the big like cross media stuff. Even if you don't like Fortnite, it is just a net positive for like the show and brand recognition and stuff. And yeah, it's just gonna be fun. I think it will be kind of like it's kind of an oxymoron to have the Doctor run around shooting people, but at the same time, there's something so fun about that image that yeah, I'm totally on board for it, 100%. Favorite flavor of soup? This is the important question. I hate to be basic, but it probably would be tomato. I'm not a big soup guy, to be honest. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. If Davros needed to be recast, who do you think should play him? And someone posted a reply of Liz Truss in the Davros chair. Me, I nominate myself to play the new Davros. I nominate me. This will truly cause Starry's moderator victorious moment. See, that's the thing. You're a moderator right now, Atomize. I could click my fingers or clap my hands and that would be removed. But no. I love how there's still some L's. Um, uh, well, at least it isn't bad. Nah, yeah, I can't lie. I'm not a big soup guy, to be honest. But yeah, what's the next one? A Dalek is a living creature living inside a tank. Living creature needs food. Where does it crap, and what happens to it? Don't we literally see the Dalek sewers in Series 9 episode? So I assume that. Although, yeah, maybe they have like a little filter in the case. I don't know. That's a loaded question that I'm not even sure Theory Nation considered. And that comes to the end of all the Twitter questions. Thank you to all of you who sent in Twitter ones. I think I went to all the ones that were listed at that point. So I'm going to move over to the YouTube questions. And we're going to start off with one that I have also pondered for a while. If you could design a brand new Doctor Who game, what would it look like? I would go full Fallout on it. Like, what by that I mean open world, customizable character, pilotable TARDIS, big budget. I'd also have maybe some DLC missions with each Doctor. I think that would be fun. Oh wow, we just had a massive super chat from Pam, who donated a funky lemon with some maracas, and that's $13.99 in Canadian dollars, I think. Yeah, thank you so much for that. That means a lot. Thanks, Doctor Who GTA. Yeah, there was like some mods for GTA San Andreas for that I've played before. But yeah, I would go full like open world, kind of a cross between Fallout and No Man's Sky. Like you get the spacefaring stuff, open world, customizable character, that sort of thing. Yeah, and like DLC missions with perhaps like each Doctor. If you had the chance to write a Doctor Who episode, what would you write it about? Oh, that's such a hard question. Oh, I love the TARDIS. So part of me would want to do like another Doctor's Wife style episode, but then another one part of me would really love to do like a deep, like Cyberman episode, really explore some of them in like some of the ways that they haven't been before. Because I think there's so much you could do with them, specifically in the modern age. So one of those two. What's the best piece of Doctor Who memorabilia that you own? Either the Cyberman head or behind me. You can't see it, but basically, hang on. Let me see what you guys can actually see on my screen. Hang on. You can see basically. You see there's like a bit of a red thingy. There's like a bit of red string by my Doctor Who DVDs. What looks like red string from this distance anyway. Can you all see that very, very slightly? Basically, what that is, I was gifted to it from someone at an old school. It's an actual set lanyard from the Moffat era of Doctor Who, like that someone will actually use. So yeah, one of those two things would probably be. Although the laser screwdriver, when that does eventually come, will be up there as well, and it has not come yet. Let's go red string, woo! Oh, the official Doctor Who Twitter account posted the airtime. I mean, yeah, the BBC press office posted it, so that's kind of inevitable. Let me have a look anyway. See if they posted anything new. There we go. Power of the Doctor. 23rd, yes, like nothing new, but still cool. I might as well retweet it. There we go. Nice. What was the next question? Okay, you've been asked to submit an episode of Doctor Who, a multi-Doctor episode. As I said, the show, you live in a world where all Doctors are alive. You are asked to select 3 classic Doctors and 3 New Who Doctors, along with companions. You can have more than one if they travelled with multiple at once, from those Doctor eras. You've suggested a maximum of 2 enemies from the history of the show. What 6 Doctors and companions do you select, and what enemies? Oh, that is a damn good question. Can we just get some chat? That's a great question. I'm just seeing a lot of pumpkins. I think they should be allowed to be shown. It's that probably don't spam it though. Oh no, someone has hidden them. Okay. Atomize hates Halloween. Spam L at Atom. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't do that. It's just becoming the bully Atomize stream. Anyway, what was I gonna do? Yeah, okay, so the question was, 3 classic Doctors, 3 New Who Doctors, 2 villains. Okay. And you're saying that they're all alive? And, like, for the sake of argument, should we say that they're all, like, the same approximate age as they were when they were in it? Alright, realistically. Oh, that's a hard question. Classic Doctor-wise, I feel like you gotta get Hartnell in there, because he was the first. Oh, but then... I've got to be so selective about this. I don't know. Actually, out of the 260s Doctors, I probably would pick Troughton, because... then again, no, because there was a lot... he had a lot more appearances outside of his own era. I think Hartnell's a bit more precious, but then again, conversely, Troughton had less surviving stuff as far as I can tell. So I'm sort of torn between those two. I might say Troughton. And then, in terms of the next one, I'd probably have to say Tom. Realistically, you just have to. I've never been a big Pertwee era fan. He's not bad. It's just, like, it's not my preferred Doctor. And I feel like you got to get one. Maybe the way to do it is have, like, one of each decade. So 160s one, 170s one, and 180s one. So I'm going to say Pat Troughton, Tom Baker, and I'm going to go with Sylvester McCoy on the basis... Oh, actually, no. Do we count Paul McGann as new or classic? That's a good question. What are we counting him at? To be fair, I am only limited to 3, so I probably would say Syl on the basis that I just think he makes the most sense. Yeah. Like, hang on one sec. I think my dog's barking. Hopefully it's okay. Hold on. I might have to double check in a moment. But yeah, I think I might go for 2, 4, 7. And then in terms of New Who guys, I think 9. You have to go with 9. Because, you know, it's Christopher Eccleston. He never comes back. I don't know whether I would go for Tennant again, purely on the basis that we've had him in so many other things, you know? So even though the BBC almost certainly would, I might skip him, and I might say 9, 11, 12. I just realised that sounds really weird out of context. If you pause it. And then companions, so what now? I get, so you get a companion for each Doctor. So 2 and Jamie, 4 and Sarah, 7 and Ace, 9 and Rose, 11 and the Poms, and I would say 12 and... do I go Clara or Bill Nella? I'll go Clara. And then, in terms of 2 major enemies, I feel like you need a smaller one and a bigger one. I would say, I love Sutak, so sure, let's bring him into it. And then, secondary villain, we need someone smaller. Who could realistically be the smaller secondary antagonist in this little story? Maybe the Autons, just because they're from the show's past. And there you go, there's that question. Which Doctor episode made you fall in love with the show? I mean, the next Doctor was my first, and I was kind of hooked ever since, so I guess that, but like Tomb of the Cybermen as well played a big part, because that was also one of my first classic Who stories. What got you in... wait, no, that's favourite or least favourite, and or least favourite before they were famous actors appear in the show. Or just say anything you have to say on the subject, honestly. Oh, so you mean in terms of, like, actors who became famous while they were on the show? I mean, Andrew Garfield, you know, he's iconic. Who else became, like, a big deal off of the back of Doctor Who? I mean, I think you got to say, like, Matt Smith as well, because, like, he is kind of a big deal now, and Karen Gillan. So yeah, that's what I'll say to that. What got you into Doctor Who and information about the show? Doctor Who itself, Next Doctor was on Christmas Day, and my parents were like, oh, you might like that. They kind of knew, like, Tom Baker and stuff, and they just slapped it on, and that was that. In terms of information, I remember my auntie sending me some footage of Series 10 filming, actually. And I remember being so mesmerised by the fact, like, oh, I have this footage that no one else has seen. That's so cool, even though other people probably did eventually. But, like, that felt so cool, and I think that probably started my fascination with, like, leaks. How could you not go for 12 and Nardole? I'm sorry! Okay? It's just that Clara's probably the more iconic of them. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm upset a bunch of Nardole stands, and I'm sorry, but yeah. If you could be a muffin, what muffin would you be? I mean, I love blue as a color, so maybe blueberry or chocolate chip, one of the two. If you were the Doctor, what would you wear that's different to previous incarnations? That's different. Interesting. I feel like I'd have to go for some jogging bottoms just because they're comfortable. But I would love to do like jogging bottoms with like a formal suit, kind of like what they did with like 10, where you have like the Converse in the suit. I think that would be quite a fun look. Um, I'd also want to wear like, ooh, I've thought about this. I have thought about this before. There's something else that I've always liked wearing that, um, I think the Doctor would look cool in, and for the life of me, I can't think what it is now. What do I wear on my regular basis? I'm not picking the Adidas shit. Um, I don't know, but yeah, jogging bottoms just because they're comfortable. If you were the Doctor, no, that's what I just read that one. Why do you think so many people would be upset if Jodie regenerates into Tennant, not Ncuti? The most common reasoning is seeing the show needs to go forwards and not backwards, which I understand if Tennant is the next full-time Doctor, but he isn't. So I literally don't get what all the fuss is about. I think it's kind of what you described. It's kind of going backwards, but I don't have an issue with it myself. Realistically, right? Ncuti was off filming for other things. It was the anniversary year. It is just kind of the thing that makes sense. And then someone else responded, who will Jodie regenerate into? And I think it will be Tennant. I'm laying that claim down now. That might age poorly in the coming weeks, but I do think it will be Tennant. Um, uh, and then it's, what made you start YouTube, and who's your biggest inspiration? Man, okay, so YouTube itself, I started because I was watching Series 11 and I wasn't satisfied with it at the time of broadcast, and I felt I needed a place to vent out my frustrations towards it. So that was basically it, because I was basically just pestering my family members, people at school about it. And I was like, you know what? I talk about this enough to the point where I feel like I might as well talk about it into like a microphone, or in my case, into my mobile initially. Hang on, I'm just going to take a drink because my voice did a little cracking there. Probably because I've been talking for an hour consistently. But yeah, so it was that basically, just wanting somewhere to say my Doctor Who opinions. And then biggest inspiration, man, I have so many. I'd say, because I grew up watching a lot of Doctor Who YouTubers, so the likes of likes of the Who addicts. I would say, in terms of like major inspirations for this channel specifically, there's been a ton. Like I think you can see a lot of like other YouTubers' DNA in like theories, particularly earlier on. I would say that some of my big inspirations were, I think, Wingy Media. If any of you know Wingy Media, his like sort of direct talking to the camera style is kind of something that I ate from quite a bit. I think, that sort of opinion piece type short form, just a guy talking about a thing type video. That like, and I think Wingy has such like a good command of like his opinions and a really really a good rapport with his audience. So I'd say him. I would say, in terms of, I think you can see a lot of Ace Creeper DNA in the early Leak videos. You go and watch those two, like, if you go and watch early, like, Ace Creeper rumor videos and my early Leak videos for, like, Series 13, they're very similar in the way that they're presented, in thumbnail style and stuff. So I would say those two for this channel. I'd also say, perhaps, I mean, I think I did start doing live streams before Mr. TARDIS, but I'd be lying if I said, that, like, I haven't taken some ideas from his live streams as well. Specifically having the news on like the screen and then basically reading it and maybe cutting out for the clips. So those were the big three. In terms of just like overall support, the likes of probably like Channel Pup was a big one, as you might know. Yeah, there's been loads really. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Why do Brits hate the idea of why do Brits hate the idea of an American Doctor? I feel it could be a good change of pace. It doesn't have to be the main show. It could be a spin-off based in America. That's something I've always wanted to see. I personally don't mind. I think it's more, and I could be wrong, but I mean, it's not like we're short of like British heroes, right? But I guess it's just that so much of Western. I mean, this isn't my reasoning. This is just a reasoning I think could exist. That like maybe it's due to the fact that there are so many like American like heroes within Western media that it'd be kind of a shame to take a hero that's pretty much like associated with Britain and British culture. Having said that, though, if they maybe do an accent, I don't really mind. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Tea or coffee? I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like either. That might be a shock to some people. I've just never got on board with either. I remember going on a school trip once and everyone was really getting into like tea and coffee. And I was like, eh. And then Jean-Luc Carey just says, what if I? What if I what? What does that mean? But yeah, that concludes that segment. I'm also noting there's just a lot of pumpkins, so I might maybe Atomize was right in just stopping Halloween for a bit because there's just a lot of spam. So I'm going to put that user in timeout for now. Oh wow, that just deleted a lot. Should they put Percy and the Cat in Power the Doctor for fun? Yes. Wait, someone said something then, I want to see it. What's another good question? We almost had an American bomb. That's true. I mean, to be fair, isn't one of them not British? But they do like what you call it? Now we hate Halloween, do we? Truly not YW. Yeah, okay, you were right. All right, I just wanted a reason to make a joke at your expense. Yeah, so I was just sorting out the spam bot. Yeah, someone said something earlier, and I want to read what it was. I'm glad I didn't make a YouTube channel when I was 18. No, well, to be fair, when I made my YouTube channel, I was 15. So, because yeah, this December, I believe, marks 4 years since this channel officially started. Why no Doctor Who anime? I don't know. You're gonna have to ask the BBC. W for Atomites. Yeah, okay. Don't let his head get too big. Jules Lazenby was Australian. Yes. Who do you think is more epic composer, Murray Gold or John Williams? I mean, they've got very different styles. They're hard to compare. Like, I like both. I mean, you could argue that like John Williams probably has the more universally iconic scores, but I do love Murray Gold. Murray Gold rules. Okay, true. No Doctor Who anime goals. What's something you want to happen in that definitely isn't going to happen? Ooh. So something that like I would want to see in an episode that they definitely wouldn't do. I don't know. I feel like Doctor Who just kind of does do anything. I feel like that's part of the appeal. I'd like to see the Doctor exiled from Earth for a while, as like a sort of role reversal of like the 70s, because I kind of get a bit sick of Earth, and I understand it's for budget reasons, but I feel like we have more budget now. I don't think they would do it though precisely for that reason, but I'd say that. I'd say that. I would say that. Oh my god, you read my comment. Yes, yes, I will. It's just that sometimes I find them difficult to read, which is why if you super chat, it's more likely I'm going to read whatever you say because it like flashes up in a big box and I see it. But obviously, there's a lot of text on the screen. Sometimes I'm just like, I missed things. I'm sorry. Tell your audience that 11th Doctor good and I can rest peacefully, Jessica. Yes, 11th Doctor is good. I agree. Hashtag find John Bishop. Oh, is that is that based on the fact that he wasn't at the premiere? Yeah, that was strange, I will say. I'm assuming he was just busy. But yeah. Exile the Doctor to Galf right now because I feel like that limits the stories you can tell. I'd like to see him exiled from Earth because then you could do like a bunch of space stories. You could you'd be forced to go to some more unique places, but they wouldn't do it because of budget things. Do you think there will ever see a musical episode of Doctor Who? Yeah, I think it's kind of inevitable. Like it's just one of those things that will happen at some point. Uh, Seventh Doctor is best Doctor. He's my favorite classic Doctor and probably my second favorite Doctor ever. So I stand by the statement. Fair enough. I can get behind that. Exile Doctor to modern day Japan, what, like in Revolution of the Daleks, where Jack and Yaz go to Japan, but it's very clearly just, a car park in Cardiff. I respect it though. Oh, we're only 5 subscribers away from 15,900. So if you haven't subscribed already, feel free. Now's your chance. You could get me to 15,900, and then we'll almost be at 16,000, which would be pretty cool. Hi, Theres. There's some new 60th behind the scenes footage. Have you seen it? Depends what you mean by new 60th behind the scenes footage. I don't think so, but I'd be interested to see. Are you in the Echo Returns series? Oh, confused out of his new fan film? He has said to me, I don't know whether I can reveal this here, but I'll say it anyway. He said to me he is devising a voice role for me for it. Someone said I'll unsubscribe to subscribe again. That's not how it works. The number doesn't go up if you do that. No. Fine. The one where David is stopping cars crashing into each other. Yes, I have seen that. Yeah, that was back in July when they were filming the Doctor vs. Goku. Who wins? I don't know much about Goku, but I feel like it would be him probably. I'm just being honest with you. I love Doctor Who, but like the Doctor was never designed to be, a winner in all fights. Like the Doctor outsmarts Goku, possibly, yeah. If we're talking about a battle of wits, then maybe. But like the Doctor was never designed to do physical fights. Oh wait, I've had some more questions on the timeline. Someone asked very quickly, a favorite chocolate bar. Ooh, good question. I do love the caramel bars or the white chocolate ones. So there we are on that. Hi, Therius. I'll be shocked if Matt Smith doesn't come back some point in the future. I hope he does. He's my favorite, so I hope he does. Exile the Doctor to Torchwood. I would be exiling them to Cardiff again. There's just a bunch of confetti, but thank you. Crossover between Doctor Who and Detective Conan. I am not aware of Detective Conan, I'm afraid. I want Slitheen back. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them back. I'd be down for that. What's better, Doritos or Pringles? Pringles all the way. Like, it's not even close. It's gonna be Pringles, man. Pringles are great. Doritos don't nearly have the amount of variety that Pringles do. It's easily Pringles. %100. Has anything new been happening whilst I've been answering questions? Not really. Favorite Doctor Who merch? I love the figures, if you couldn't already tell. If you mean like one-off pieces, I like all of it, really. I'll collect whatever I can. I like the figures a lot, though. If I could pick one... To be fair, I do want one of the Big Chief Studios figures, so I might say one of those. Why did subscribe get held for review? No, I agree with that message. Subscribe. Nah, man, don't give me with this. Doritos have a nicer texture. Pringles just are elite. Like, there's not... Never happy until the Chumblies return. Fair enough. I had a Toffee Crisp bar earlier. Nice. I'm wearing 11 Doctor stocks with the 13th Doctor's logo on them. Very weird. Yeah, I feel like putting the new logo on stuff sometimes works, and then other times, like, it makes less sense. It really depends. Hello from Serbia. Well, shout-outs to you. Did anyone ask you how many Naimon you've seen today? If not, that's a missed opportunity. They have not, and now everyone's doing it. I've seen 4. So there you go. If Doctor Who and SpongeBob had a crossover, do you think Plankton could kill the Doctor? I'd like to see him try. Nah, stop this with the Doritos being better than Pringles. It's not true. It's a lie. Will a Lego Doctor Who set be a thing? I mean, there is one that was made by fans on Lego Ideas that was, made into official set. I'd like it to be. I'd love it if they did more. I'd buy more Lego, even though I'd struggle to make it. But I just don't think Doctor Who's popular enough. Maybe if it got to like the apex of its popularity again in a couple of years, maybe under RTD, I could see maybe, but like it's the Lego license, they go for like the biggest franchises for like regular releases, like your Marvels, your DCs, your Star Wars. Like it would have to get really big for them to do, a couple of Lego sets. But then I do think I'd love to see a Lego game. To be fair, I got tons of stuff from that Lego rip-off. Oh, you mean character building? Yeah, I had those back in the day. I had the little blind bags. Remember those? I had those little blind bags which were like each character. Just had dinner. What's happening? Not much. We're just vibing. We're just chilling. We're just answering some questions. Maybe should I get some music on? I feel like I should have some music on, just to sort of make the silence a little bit less. There is this track I like that I think Crispy Pro used, which I'm now going to steal. Give me a sec. I'm just going to look for it. Oh wow, Joe's already finished streaming. Ow, we're still here. Let me find it. This is the one. Hopefully you can hear this. Let me know if it's too loud. Coming to find you, and I will never ever stop. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to turn it down a bit for me. Hang on, I'm going to do that without you guys still being able to hear it. Currently, blind bags are still popular with kids. Yeah, that's true. I could see them doing some more stuff like that. I could see them maybe doing some Lego blind bags. Oh, look at that. Chill vibes. I don't know how this actually sounds. Hang on, I'm going to mute myself just to see how it sounds. Wait. Sounds a bit like banging Belgian jazz. Yeah, I know. I just think it's got a chill vibe, Will BBC and Silver Screen Record bring out Doctor Who soundtracks? I don't know. I don't know much about the soundtracks, but yeah, I wouldn't mind if they did. They should do a movie about for Doctor Who at some point. Not like the one McGann did, but like a feature film. Yeah. The only thing about this lo-fi music is that this specific one has a bit too much of like the talking in it for my personal liking, but I do love it. It's a very chill vibe. Doctor Who finale going to be on iPlayer? Yes, it was confirmed it's going to be on iPlayer. The thing is, I can't play any actually licensed music because I will get claimed. Do you like classical music, and if so, who's your favourite composer? I'm not a big music guy, I'll be honest. I don't listen to much music in my free time. I'm mostly like a movies and games guy. But I don't really have a favourite classic composer, I guess. Sorry, I'm not that cultured. Is it getting a 4K broadcast like Regeneration of the Dialects? I'm not sure. There are rumours of several different Lego video games: Disney, Doctor Who, Marvel, Infinity Saga, Lego Football, or Sports. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. Confused out of person, Mr. TARDIS. What? Okay, hang on. I need to pause the music to answer this question seriously. Okay, so are you talking in terms of like as content or as people? Harry's not a music person. No wonder he wants Murray Gold back. Hey, listen, Murray was a masterpiece. You're just so chill. Your microphone. Oh wait, you mean the music? Oh well, that's good. I'm glad you like the music. As content. Oh well, see, the thing is, Joe barely uploads these days because he's working on his film. But then obviously, like with Mr. TARDIS, I think he makes great stuff. I don't always agree with his stuff. To be fair, there are some Mr. TARDIS videos I will skip. No offense to him, because they don't just interest me as much. I don't know. They both have different appeals. I know that's a bit of a cop-out answer, but because I think Joe is more in line with probably the content I make. Um, I genuinely can't pick. If we're talking about which one I watch more often, probably Mr. TARDIS, on the basis alone that he uploads more, to be honest. Like, okay, so what was the next one? Favorite TARDIS exterior? Honestly, I like the current one. Not the inside, but the box is really nice. I also like the McGann one, and just the original 60s one is also a vibe. Do you play the Dark Souls games? I have thought about it. I have thought about getting Elden Ring, because I got a Steam Deck over there, as you can see. But the problem is, I feel like I would be far too bad to try and do that. Do you watch any Doctor Who fan films? Yes, actually, too many. Me and Jean made it a regular pastime to sit and watch Doctor Who fan films. So I'm going to put the music back on. Best YouTuber is me. Well, that's debatable, because I'm right here. No, I'm joking. I'm sure you're great. Putting the music back on. Okay. If Mr. TARDIS and Confused Adipose upload at the same time, who would you watch? Honestly, depends on what type of video it is. Like, because so the thing is, like, okay, if we're looking at this realistically, okay, Mr. TARDIS. Let me look up his channel right now. Let me look up Mr. TARDIS. Like, let me have a look here. So Mr. TARDIS, right? You got this RTD Series 15 video. I probably will watch that later, which is probably a segment for his live stream. I've started watching his hidden details in the Centenary video, but I've not gone very far. But then things like, I probably, and it's no slight on him, but like I'm not a big, like I haven't like listened to much Big Finish, so I probably would skip the Big Finish uploads, right? And then obviously so you got the 10th Doctor Companions one. I'm probably not gonna watch the Big Finish stuff. But then equally, right? If we're looking at it realistically, if we go on the Confused Adipose, I love both these guys, by the way. But you put the question to me, so I'm answering it. He uploads less frequently, at least by my standards, at least. But I probably am more likely to watch his video on the basis that he more often covers. He mostly only covers topics that I probably would be interested in, although equally, he covers topics that I'd have already covered. So it's really hard. It's genuinely quite hard. It honestly depends on the content. I don't know whether I can answer. Nice to see Darius shout out the smallest streamers. I watch Darius most often. See, that's the correct answer right there. Do you think Jodie will regenerate into David or she? David, I think I said it a couple times in the stream. David got the classic blue t-shirt on. I do, yeah. Thought about starting a Doctor Who channel, but I don't think I'd have anything to bring to the table. Honestly, just go for it anyway. Always have a Thari's video on in the background. Oh, you guys are too kind. Too kind. Steam Deck portable for playing computer games. That's what it is, yeah. I have really been enjoying it. Oh yeah, we're also just 5 subscribers away from 15,900. So if you haven't subscribed, I've noticed the viewers have sort of dropped off, which I don't mind. That's fine. I'll probably wrap up soon anyway, because I wasn't going to go as long as yesterday's stream. Darius is the supreme adipose overlord. That implies that I'm, higher up than Confused Adipose. I'll take that. Thinking about getting one. I would, honestly. I'm really enjoying it. I've been playing a lot on it. Darius is the genuine article. Oh, stop it. You're all too kind. Alright, Jodie Whittaker's been trending. Why is Jodie Whittaker trending? Has anything big happened? Not that I can see. Oh yeah, there was this, I suppose. I might as well talk about this. So the Jodie Whittaker, the Regeneration scene was not shown at the press screening. Multiple people have come out and said, who read the press screening, that it did just cut to black. That does imply to me that there is indeed one, which I always thought there was. I think Doctor Who Production News also talked about it, or retweeted someone who was talking about it. Hold on. Yeah, so Joe here, who was at the thing, said someone asked him. Let me have a look at the replies here. So basically he said we can't talk about Power of the Doctor until it releases. However, so wait, so they can't do early reviews or anything like that? I thought that was the whole point of a press screen. Oh well, I don't know. Anyway, until it releases, however, I can say they didn't show us the Regeneration. They want to save it till the 23rd. And then someone said, how did it cut off? Did it just cut to black? It just says, yeah, it cut it to black. So yeah, that confirms they cut it off before the Regeneration. So that's cool. Which I always thought they were going to do. Hi, Theories. Hi. Shall I put the vibe music back on? Oh, yeah. Dude. They did the same thing for Twice Upon a Time, just so everyone knows. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a Hibernal thing at all. Yeah, I know they did it for Twice Upon a Time. I'm just saying it's weird how they did a press screening and they're not allowed to say anything until the 23rd. The views will probably pop out at like 9 PM on the 23rd. Maybe? Yeah, probably. Just the moment it ends. Is the music good, by the way? I might change it. Hold on, let me see what else I can find. There is another track I like, and I can't remember what it's called now. No, not this one. There's a version, there's one I like, and I can't find it. I've used it in videos before now. Oh well. I guess it means they can release reviews immediately. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I just was expecting some more early reviews, but I guess not. But that's fine. What colour should the Daleks be? I don't mind. I do want a new design though. Which villain should go to the bin? What villain I don't want to see again? The Dregs. They're just lame, aren't they? Music bad because Doctor Who play Upseas. I need Upseas from the Boss Baby. No. I refuse. I think that's most of the things I wanted to talk about. Because we've done a lot of the questions that I wanted to get through. So yeah, thank you all for watching though. Very much appreciate that. Bin the Dregs, very true. Play Orbital Doctor Who. It's really electric. Hang on, I gotta make sure it's not copyright claimable though. Orbital Doctor Who. There's a bunch of results for this. You on about the thing that Matt Smith did at Glastonbury? That's wild that happened, by the way. This was fun, Darius. It was fun. Oh no, did I join right as it's about to finish? Yeah. That always happens. Some people always run. I'm jealous of everyone who got to see already. No, wait, check your Twitter DMs. In like 2 minutes, I back. Okay. I'll check them. Wait. Okay, I'll check my Twitter DMs, but then I am going. Sorry, I just got here, did I miss anything? I am just wrapping up. There's like this always happens. I always like end stream and then everyone's like, I just joined. Matt Smith. I probably can't play it due to copyright, but back in the day, he played a version of the theme, like DJ'd it at Glastonbury, like a hip remix of it. Right, someone sent me something. I'm gonna have a look. Okay, you suggested a watch party. I'll have a think about that. But look, I do have to go. But thank you all for tuning in. Like the stream if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see you in a bit. Farewell, everybody. Goodbye.